Something that I found interesting about the play was that when Esther married George, she didn't really know who he was and like had never met him before. And then she finds out that George wasn't even the one that was writing the letters to her. So she really didn't know him at all and basically married a stranger. And then also from the beginning, Miss Dixon warned Esther about the whole situation, and Miss Dixon ended up being right. Two values, one of them was love. Esther, she'd been searching for a man from the beginning, and Miss Dixon was even trying to set her up with Mr. Charles, and she thought her love life was hopeless, and she was so, not so old, but she was older. She was like in her 30s, so she didn't think she'd ever find anyone. And then another value is money. Esther had been saving up to someday open her own shop, so she saved up a lot of money, and George kept asking uh, Esther for money from her quilt, and he finally convinced her to give it all to him. Something I didn't understand was when Miss Dixon was talking about her husband dying. She said, "Sure, I cussed that damn pipe, and I cussed him for making me a widow." I didn't know what she meant by cuss that damn pipe, but then I kind of went through and like reread it a couple times, and it said that he had a drug addiction, so that's what it means, like the pipe for drugs, I assume. Um, and then I believe that this play mostly reinforces our understanding of African American experience. It shows how they had to work hard to make a living, and Miss Van Buren even says that her favorite time is when she meets with Esther, which is something you wouldn't expect since most white people treated African Americans really poorly. And Esther was working hard in hopes of one day opening her own shop, but George and Mamie thought she was like crazy about it and didn't think it would ever happen and that it wasn't realistic. Um, I believe stereotypes still exist today, and I don't think they're ever gonna go away. I believe entertainment, such as like movies, TVs, and plays, as we talked about, I believe they put these stereotypes in people's heads, and they basically reinforce them a lot because people end up using the same stereotype. Um, to overcome stereotypes, I think you just have to let them not affect you and try to break out of these stereotypes and dream big. Such as Esther, she wanted to break out of these stereotypes and open her own shop one day, but everybody thought she was crazy for thinking that way. And then two questions I had is, what do you believe was the true message behind this play? And then the second one is, why do you think George did what he did? Do you think at first he like thought he would end up falling in love with her, or do you think from the beginning he was just gonna trick her and take all her money?